Hello and welcome to Mad About Superheroes Marvel Comics review of Robocop. We got a great cover here by Mark Texeira. Texeira would go on to work for Marvel Comics for many years, and he drew one of my favorite titles, Wolverine. He did a great run on that. Draws a really good Wolverine. My only complaint would be that Wolverine looks too tall the way he draws him. Wolverine's supposed to be a short character. Even the actor that played him, Hugh Jackman, for many years. Too tall, but love his performance. But, being a short guy myself, short guys need representation in comics and in film, so. But I digress. Great cover here by Mark Texeira. It's the comics adaptation of the film Robocop. Of course, it was a film before it was a comic, but Robocop lends itself to be adapted to a comic form. He's kind of like a superhero, or as they boast here, the official Marvel adaptation of the blockbuster movie sensation. Always loved the tagline for films, especially Robocop was probably one of the earliest ones that I noticed. I love the part man, part machine, all cop. Sums up the character, the film, in just a sentence. Really, really good. And the future of law enforcement. They also had The Future Is Now was part of it as well, the ad campaign. And talking about Mark Texeira, he also illustrated the cover for this and the interior for Buckaroo Banzai. And another thing it has in common with Robocop is the actor that portrayed Robocop, Peter Weller, also portrayed Buckaroo Banzai. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of neat. And great covers. I think maybe I can't decide which one I like more. I can go back and forth. This one's really done well, but I like the dynamic on this cover. It's really has some real cool depictions of stuff that happens in the movie. Great Robocop and Officer Lewis behind him there. We got all the villain characters here. And the classic scene of the Ed 209 blowing away the business executives. Classic scene everybody always talks about. Marvel Comics, for a while, they would do their movie adaptations in these magazine forms. They were calling them super specials, and then that kind of changed. These here around the Robocop adaptation are in full color, but for some reason they started to cheap out, and this one's in black and white. But they also did release a color version in the smaller form, in the regular comic format, which you can see here is a bit smaller than the magazine form. That was in color, and this is kind of like a prestige format version. But I prefer, I have a fond attachment to this because I picked this up right after me and my brother. I have an older brother who took me to see Robocop, and right after the film, we went into a newsstand in our neighborhood, and they had this on the shelf, and I grabbed it. I snagged it up. So I have that nostalgic attachment to the black and white magazine here that we're going to look at. So let's crack it open and check it out. And we got a great shot here, black and white, of a scene from the film. I believe that's when he's in the liquor store, when he saves the old couple who owns the place from being robbed. We got some credits here going on here from the film, and it's it's who it's adapted by and all that great stuff. Some more credits here of the creators of the comic. Adapted by Bob Harris, pencils by Javier Saltares. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that last name wrong, but he has a history with comics. He did a short run on with Mark Texeira actually on Ghost Rider for Marvel, which I love. That's great stuff. And this is pretty much the movie. They don't deviate too much. I think they leave out. They have like the news feed that I think they might have been influenced by The Dark Knight Returns, by Batman: The Dark Knight Returns. That was popular. I don't know if the screenwriter or the guy that wrote the script was influenced by that, but it seems very much like Dark Knight Returns with the news feed. And then they have like the what I was trying to mention was I think they leave out the funny or the comedic satire commercials and TV show. The I'll buy that for $1 and stuff. This tries to be like more of a straightforward superhero comic.
I'd buy that for $1.
But great shot here of Peter Weller in the film when Alex Murphy shows up to his new job at the new police. He's transferred from police stations. And I just want to take that in again. That's a really great drawing there of all the stuff going on there, and mentioning the news feed up here. Really good stuff. And I think they incorporate a scene here. I don't know if it was in the original script, but it made it into the where the main villain Clarence Bonniger and his henchmen there, that they're cop killers. So that's a scene that doesn't happen in the movie. I wanted to call that out, which is kind of cool. A lot of these adaptations would have stuff like that. Like sometimes it was in the original script, didn't make it into the film, or sometimes it's just stuff that they add. But it's always interesting to see. Like when you read some of these adaptations, you get to see some things that wound up on the cutting room floor, or didn't get filmed at all for budget or whatever. But and this is the classic boardroom scene here with the Ed 209 that I mentioned. Everybody loves that scene. Everybody always laughs and talks about it, and deservedly so. It's a great scene. And we're moving through things here at a brisk pace, and we got some action going on here where Lewis and Murphy are chasing down Clarence Bonniger and his gang. Great villains for Robocop. Very memorable. Everybody knows Clarence, the actor that played Clarence Bonniger. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but everybody knows him as Red Foreman on That 70s Show.
Dumbass! You dumbass! You're a dumbass! Such a dumbass!
It's good stuff. Really well drawn. And classically, a lot of people always bring up in the 80s there was a trend of violent films, as you can see here, not as depicted as horrific as it is in the film, but you still get that sense of when Clarence Bonniger and his guys they execute Alex Murphy, and that's the catalyst for him to become Robocop. But the trend in the 80s was they would adapt really violent material, films, into cartoons. And Robocop, I think it was in '89, where he got his own cartoon series.
Super Cop. Robocop.
That's a great shot there of the robotic arm, what's going to be Robocop's arm going forward there. Really cool, really effective. And he's having the flashbacks just like in the film of his family and things like that while they're, performing this procedure on him. And really done effective, this whole scene here where she's putting the blanket up or the sheet up over his eyes. Really cool. And that's a great shot there. Splash page of Robocop. And it mentions in the credits, it's like I'm not sure what the division of labor is, but they credit Javier Salters and Alan Cooperberger. But really done well. And again, that's a really great shot. I remember as a kid trying to copy that, to redraw that. But yeah, great shot. A lot like the film, It just looks really cool. And even the shot here, too, of him with the gun, very impressive. And the lighting on it and the shading and the different things there. It looks like Zipatone. Very cool. I mean, some of it seems a little rushed, or I don't know if they were on a deadline or whatever, but still. Anyway, it's hard to for me to say negative things because sequential art isn't an easy thing to do. So anybody that can do it, I got to give props to. I don't like to say something, sucks or to give those kinds of, reviews about things, because I know how hard it is. I've tried to do it myself. I like to draw. It's much easier to do pinups or just a full figure drawing of a character, but to do backgrounds and all this kind of stuff and to tell a story isn't an easy thing to do. And even though some of it, like I said, seems a little dash out or rushed or crude at times, he's still getting across, or they're getting across the story. There's no thing of you don't understand what's going on. It's done very well. In my opinion, it just this whole production, this magazine, is lacking just a little bit because the others that were done before it, they're full color. The paper's a little better too. This is really cheap newsprint. But again, very impressive. I like the shadow on the wall here. It's a lot like the movie. That's what I always liked about these adaptations, that it's the next best thing to watching the film. Like when I was a kid, we didn't have like VHS for a long while when other kids, other households had it. So I couldn't just pop a movie in, or I'd have to wait for the television broadcast. But if I had these, I can always, open these up and look at these and reread these. And it was like reliving the movie, all over again. And this is a classic scene in the movie here where Robocop rescues the woman that's about to be assaulted, and he saves the day. And I don't think if they reenact the where no they don't, where he shoots through her dress.
He's gonna kill her, man! He's gonna kill her!
And that was a little too rated R even for the comic version. It is really cool stuff and the only thing that, like I said, that I think that is lacking from the story is that they take out is some of the commercials, the satirical commercials. And they try to add stuff too that wasn't in the film, like this when he meets up with one of the bad guys that shot him at the gas station. He's not on like this bridge in the movie. They added that in the comic, but it's very cool. Even though I wish you could see RoboCop a little better, you get the sense of that his police car is right behind him there, and then they have him in this scene here where he like jumps down to meet him. So that's kind of cool. It's, they try to do things a little bit different, and that's a really cool drawing. Even though it doesn't look like the actor that's in the film that plays him, it's just a really good drawing of a face, and the motion where where the cigar is like dropping out of his mouth. Really well done. And of course, I prefer again, this is done really quickly or crudely or whatever, but he still gets across what happens. But in the film, it looks, it's really spectacular. That explosion was huge. There's some of it, like I said, it seems a little rushed. Like this stuff here, it's really like quickly done. That's why I think they were probably on a deadline, because the stuff in the beginning, I don't know if they were doing it from beginning to end when they were actually drawing it, but some of the stuff in the beginning of this magazine the art is a lot stronger than some of the stuff later on, where it seems like quickly done. This is a great shot here too, the way the perspective is with the arm coming down into the scene and the dance club. Very cool. Again, it's not exactly like the film. They take some liberties, but it's really well done. It looks really cool with the girl dancing here and all that figure, that form. It looks really good. I'm impressed. And this shot here too. This guy really resembles the likeness of the actor in the film. He has that laugh, that funny laugh. And this is the classic warehouse scene where RoboCop busts in, shoot him up. Very cool. That's cool too. Although in the movie he doesn't do that. It looks like he's covering his eyes or his mouth area, his exposed areas. So there's little things that they add, and some things aren't as done as well. But they add stuff that's that's cool to make it their own. And this is a nice scene here too, the way it looks. With Lois, where she encounters, again, done differently than it is in the film, but still effective. You're still getting the story across. Yeah, starting to feel, like I said, towards the end there, it gets a little rushed. But even so, like I said, no problem understanding what's happening. great action stuff. I look that's a great shot right there too, with him jumping. Even though it's very cartoony there, it actually reminds me of the aforementioned RoboCop cartoon series. Some of these scenes here, like they can't get so detailed sometimes in animation when they're trying to make stuff. You know, when they're animating and when they're trying to make it move, so they got to go as simple as they can in some cases. But yeah, really cool. We're kind of rushing to the end here, but that's a great shot. Pretty good. Resembles Peter Weller, and you know, here with him taking the classic scene with him taking off the helmet, and to get that reveal, and looks great. You don't get the full effect of it in comic form, but the effects in the movie, you know, the makeup and all that is done so well. And like I said, RoboCop is a perfect character to adapt into comic form. He's had many comic book series. Marvel did it for a long while. He had his own series, and then you know, some other. I think Dark Horse might have had it. I'm probably remembering that wrong, but there were other comic companies that did RoboCop comics as well. And mentioning Frank Miller before in The Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller went on to write the script for RoboCop 2 and RoboCop 3. Although there were rewrites on them, he did some initial work on it, and then other writers came in and messed with it and, you know, put their own thing to it. But yeah, so Frank Miller has a history with RoboCop as well. Like I was mentioning, like I think maybe the first RoboCop film was influenced by The Dark Knight Returns, certain aspects of it. He's also influenced probably by Judge Dredd, some of the satirical stuff. So yeah, it's interesting. Then Frank Miller went on to add to the mythos.
Frank, Benzatrine's got my teeth wiggling. Cut it with scopolamine. 5 mils per. Yes, sir.
And we got the classic fight going on here with Clarence Bonniger. The end game here. Although they don't show it, again, stuff in the movie is much more violent, much more horrific, where he ends Clarence Bonniger. Gets revenge, the guy that killed him.
Sayonara, Robocop!
And love the Ed 209 robot here. Again, done very simply, very cartoony, but effective. You know, you get the sense of what it is. Very cool. Cool stuff. I love the shot here, the classic scene where he gets Dick Jones, the corporate guy that was working with Clarence Bonniger.
Dick, you're fired!
Thank you.
And love this shot here. Again, really cool looking, where he delivers the line where the old man says, "Nice shooting, son. What's your name?" And he delivers the line.
Murphy.
And this doesn't happen in the movie too, but you got the heroic shot, you know, classic, very superhero-esque of him on the rooftop, like a superhero, like Batman or Superman or something, or Captain America or Spider-Man, or pick any classic superhero. There was a cool advertisement there for a graphic novel of Iron Man, and another cool shot, black and white, from the movie of Peter Weller as Robocop. Very cool. The classic movie poster. Very cool stuff. And again, there's my favorite tagline: "Part man, part machine, all cop. Robocop." So that is the Robocop official Marvel Comics adaptation of the blockbuster movie sensation. Thanks for letting your geek flag fly with Mad About Superheroes, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.